Welcome to your mat. This is your level 2 hip opening class. This is about 60-minute class, and presently I am about 6 months pregnant, so I will be modifying quite a bit of my practice. I won't be laying all the way down onto my belly, and there will be some things that I'm doing a little different than what I'm saying, so do as I say and not as I do. And as always, modify in your own practice if your body needs to. You're going to need a blanket, 2 blocks, and a strap today. So go ahead and grab those items and we will get started. So we'll start today on a block in Virasana. If your hips and your knees say it's okay to sit all the way on the ground without a block, then you can choose to do that. But make sure that your toes are pointing straight back behind you. Your knees are coming in towards each other, not spread out, and you feel like you can be pretty stable on your 2 sit bones. Once you found yourself in Virasana, bring your hands onto your thighs and close your eyes. Start with some really easy, slow breaths, using them as a way to check in with your body, check in with your mind. Notice anywhere you might be holding tension, starting with the face and the jaw and moving a little bit lower to the torso, down to the hips and all the way to your knees, ankles, and toes. Don't feel the need to change anything quite yet. Just allowing yourself to become aware of any tension, any tightness or tenderness. Today we'll be traveling deep into the hips. We'll also be working the shoulders through some binds. So as you prepare yourself for this process, and we'll do it physically, but we'll do it with our breath as well. Just allow for trust and allow for gratitude to sit in your hips. Your hips can store so much energy and a lot of old stuff. So trust that whatever comes up in this practice, you'll be able to face. And be grateful for whatever it is that you're holding in the body, because it will inform you of ways that you can let go a little bit more. Sometimes the first step in releasing old patterns or releasing old habits just sits with the awareness of it and being able to acknowledge it in the moment. And so that's all this practice is today. Trusting and acknowledging. Begin to cultivate more of an ujjayi breath up into the throat, feeling a constriction. Breathing in and out through the nose at a capacity that feels comfortable for you. So it doesn't feel like you have to strain to draw in or strain to exhale. It's kind of right at that edge of comfort. So as physically the asana or the practice gets a little bit harder, you always have this home base of breath. When you constrict the throat, you can hear it. You can feel it in the form of heat or in the form of movement. So let this breath be your tether back to your home, back to your comfort. Go ahead and blink your eyes open and release your arms down by your side. Take your right hand and reach behind your back, grab for your left elbow. So once you've done that, release both your shoulders down and away from your ears, and then let your left ear fall towards your left shoulder. Make any adjustments with your head. So you might need to lean back with your head slightly, or it might feel better to actually drop your chin closer to your chest. You're seeking any kind of sensation here that feels like it could use a little release. So with your head falling to the left, keep drawing your right shoulder down and back. Staying with your ujjayi breath. And letting that be the most interesting thing, your sensation and your breath. Release your right hand. Bring your left hand to your left ear and lift your head up with a relaxed neck. Switch your grip, so left hand comes behind your back, grab for your right elbow, and then draw right ear to right shoulder. Make micro adjustments with your chin or the angle of your head and neck so that you feel quite a bit of sensation. No pain though. And then use your exhale to release your left shoulder down and away from your left ear. Release your teeth from each other, so no extra tension in the jaw. Then release your left hand. Bring your right hand to right ear and lift your head up with a relaxed neck. Reach your your right arm straight up towards the sky with the palm facing midline, and then bend your elbow. Bring the palm of your hand to the back of your neck or the space between your shoulder blades. You can reach your left hand to grab your right elbow to help you draw it more in towards midline so the upper arm is coming closer towards your head. But wherever you're at, keep your head leaning back into your forearm and keep your spine nice and tall. Draw your inhale into your tricep, into your armpit and your chest. And use your exhale to let your lower ribs sink down so you're not doing too much of a back bend to achieve this stretch in the shoulder. On your next inhale, reach both arms up and then bend your left elbow and switch that grip. So again, the palm of your hand is coming to the back of your neck or the space between your shoulder blades, like you're trying to pat yourself on the back. And then you'll use your other arm to help hug your elbow and your upper arm in towards midline. Then come back to the awareness of the spine, trying to draw the low ribs down if possible, and also lean your head back into your upper arm or your forearm. That should give you quite a bit of a stretch in the tricep. Release both arms up to the sky. Exhale, swing your arms down. Come off of your block and then have a seat on your mat for Baddha Konasana with hip unlocking. So bring the soles of your feet together. You can have a little bit of space between your heels and your groin if that feels good. And then bring your right hand down for support, kind of away from your hip so that you can reach your left palm or the base of your palm right into your hip crease. So as you lean towards the right, push your left palm into the hip crease and then traction your palm up this way towards your knee as you push down so that you're tractioning and moving the femur bone away from your pelvis. Now relax your neck and jaw, but stay kind of active through your feet and continue to push and press that femur bone out and away. Breathing space into that joint. It should feel like a nice tractioning. And then using your inhale, balloon that area of your belly, your waist, and your hip up so that you can feel this breath kind of take over that space. Release the pressure from your hand and then press yourself back up through neutral. We'll switch sides. Left hand comes out for support. Right palm or base of the palm comes right into the hip crease. Press down and then traction your palm up towards your knee. Feel for any sensations that are created when you do that. It might feel a little unusual. And especially as you start to balloon your breath down that way, there may be some pulling or some kind of fascial tension that you can feel that might feel just a little different than your typical Baddha Konasana. Good. Go ahead and release your palm from your hip and then press yourself up. We'll come down onto our backs for a bridge pose. So you'll just set your props off to the side for now. Come onto your side and then onto your back. Keep your knees bent, feet just a little distance, a couple inches away from your sit bones. And then arms by your side, flip your palms up for this version. Inhale into your chest and then press your outer shoulders into the mat. Then start to lift up through your hips. Feel for scooping your tailbone up towards your knee and also lifting your heart space towards your chin. And feel for even weight between both feet. Keep rooting your arms and your outer shoulders into the mat. Feel for the strength of your hips, your glutes as you take a couple big breaths here, feeling really expansive in your breath. On your next inhale, lift your heels off the mat, come up high in your bridge, and as you exhale, roll down your upper back, roll down your middle back, and then roll down your lower back, letting hips land last, so coming down nice and slow. Heel toe your left foot to center and extend your right leg straight up towards the sky. Now, if your hamstrings are feeling pretty tight, then put a bend in your knee or even come kind of towards a tabletop shape with that leg, if that feels better on your hamstring, and it'll challenge the core just the same. So keep your left foot down, arms down by your side. Inhale, push up with your left leg into a one-legged bridge, and exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, press up. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, press up. Exhale, lower halfway. And again, the leg can be straight up towards the sky. One more time, press up. Reach energetically through your knee or your right foot straight up towards the sky. And then exhale, slowly lower your hips down. Switch the position of your feet. So right foot comes to center, left leg straight up towards the sky or a bend. Inhale, press your hips up, pushing into the right foot. Exhale, come down halfway. Inhale, push up. Exhale, come down halfway. Inhale, up. Exhale, come down halfway. Inhale, up. Exhale, down halfway. Last time, press up. Energize through your top foot. Keep pushing through your right foot. And as you exhale, slowly come down. Separate your feet mat distance apart. Give yourself a couple windshield wipers there. Let the knees just fall side to side. And then come over onto your side body, press yourself up, and come into a tabletop position. You can grab your blanket and place it next to your mat so that it can come underneath your knees whenever you need a little extra padding. So in tabletop, take 2 or 3 rounds, let's do 3, of cat and cow. So as you exhale, round your spine. Inhale, arch your back, let your belly fall, chest forward. 2 more times each way, using your own breath, firing up your ujjayi. Come back to center and find down dog. So walk your hands forward, tuck your toes, and lift your hips. Make sure to wrap through the shoulders, suction cup your fingertips so the hands are super active. And then put a slight bend in your knees so that you can tip your sit bones straight up and back. Now, if there's a lot of room in your hamstrings and you feel that you can press the tops of your thighs backwards, then do that as opposed to just trying to root your heels down into the mat. Feel for energy of lengthening the spine as opposed to just grounding. On your inhale, shift forward to plank pose. Bring the shoulders over the wrists and fire up your legs. Keep your legs super, super strong. In your plank pose with the feet just about hip distance apart, so just the same distance they were in down dog, lift and hover your right foot off of the mat. So you look like this. Keep hips and shoulders at the same level and keep your left leg super strong. With lots of control, lower your right foot down and then switch. Lift your left heel up. Not opening the pelvis, keep the pelvis square, but just lifting the toes so that they hover. Strong through your feet. And then exhale, release your left toes back down to the mat and lift your hips up to down dog. Take your gaze forward and walk to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, slowly rise up to stand. And exhale, bring big toes together to touch. We're going to take 2 rounds of classic sun. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, step your right foot back. Bring a blanket underneath your knee and lower your right knee down. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to the mat. Plank to chaturanga. Step back into plank, lower your knees down, and then lower down onto your belly. Replace your hands like goalposts. Inhale, pull your ribs forward and up. Exhale, pull ribs forward, come down, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Step your right foot forward, bring your right knee down. Inhale, lunge, rise up with your hands. Forward fold, exhale, plant your palms, step forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to heart. One more time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Step your left foot back. Left knee down, lunge. Inhale. Exhale, plank to chaturanga. Lower your palms down. Step back to plank. Lower your knees down, and then lower your chest and belly down onto the floor at the same time. Cobra pose. Inhale, replace your hands like goalposts and pull your ribs forward and up. Exhale, pull your ribs forward, come down, downward facing dog, lift hips up and back. Lunge, step your left foot forward, drop your right knee down. Arms up, inhale. Forward fold, exhale, plant your palms, step forward. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Sun salutation B. Bring feet together to touch if they're not already. Chair pose, sit your hips low. Forward fold, exhale, palms to the mat. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, plank to chaturanga. Plant your palms on the mat and step back. Plank pose. You can choose to modify by lowering all the way to your belly or lower just halfway in a chaturanga. If you lower to your belly, take cobra pose on your inhale. If not, take upward facing dog on your inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward. Warrior one, spin your left heel down, inhale your arms to the sky. Stay here for a moment. Bend your left elbow, bring it behind your back, and then internally rotate your right arm, bring it behind your back as well. Gomukhasana arms. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale, release your arms, plant your palms, step back to plank, plank to chaturanga. Continue to modify or take chaturanga to up dog. And as you exhale, find downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward, right heel down, warrior one, rise. Bend your right elbow, bring your palm behind your back. Internally rotate left arm, wrap it behind your back, modified Gomukhasana arms. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale and release. Bring your palms to the mat. Step back, plank to chaturanga. Inhale for your back bend. Exhale to downward facing dog. Take 2 full rounds of breath in your down dog. Box-shaped lunge. Step your right foot forward. Bring your left knee down to the mat and then rise up to a box shape. So bring a blanket under your knee if you need that padding. And then in your box-shaped lunge, the knee is over the front ankle and your hips are level. Inhale your left arm up to the sky. Keep right hand on your hip. Exhale, stretch your left fingertips over towards the right for just a gentle side bend, feeling for lengthening here, but nothing too intense. Hips are staying level. Inhale, return to center, easy twisting lunge. Bring left hand in line with your front foot to the outer edge of your mat or even off of your mat. Keep pelvis level. Inhale, right arm up to the sky. Inhale to telescope your ribs forward. Exhale, relax your neck and head. Inhale, pull in through your low belly. And as you exhale, level your pelvis by dropping your right hip down. Feel for length through your side body and a slight leaning back. Head to ankle stage 1. Release your right hand down inside of your right foot and grab a block if you need, or 2 blocks. You'll find out if you need them in a second. We're going to lower our forearms down onto the mat, and you are slightly tilted over to the left, so you're kind of angled off of the mat. Now, if you have a little more to give and you can bring your forearms down to the ground, that's totally fine. But blocks can be really handy to help you level the pelvis. Since this is really preparatory for the next poses, you want to make sure the pelvis is pretty level. So right hip is energetically dropping down and back. Lizard pose with a half bind. Come back up onto your hands. You can set your blocks to the front of the mat. So hug your right knee in towards your right shoulder and then straighten your left leg. Lengthen your stance as much as you need so that heel is over the ball of your foot. And then reach your right arm under your right thigh. Internally rotate and then bend your elbow, bringing your hand to the back of your hip. Energize your chest forward and then bring weight forward into your front foot. Stay strong here through your left leg. Release your right hand. Turn to face the left side of your mat in a wide-legged fold for flank stretch. Right hand to left ankle. Drop your right elbow towards the mat and then your head inside of your right armpit. Left hand grabs your right wrist. Rock the weight forward into the front of your foot as you pull your upper body towards your left leg. Release to center. Walk your hands to the top of your mat and come to downward facing dog. Box-shaped lunge on the other side. Step your right foot forward and bring your left knee down. Rise up. Oops, other side, sorry. Left foot forward, right knee down. So again, check out that your knee is over your front ankle, left hand to your hip so you can level your pelvis, and then right arm up and overhead. Feeling for a straight line from knee through fingertips as you lift and telescope your ribs. Exhale to reach your right sit bone down towards your right knee to increase the stretch of that right hip flexor. Easy twisting lunge. Bring your right hand down in line with your left foot, but outside of the mat. Level your left hip down and reach your left arm up. Feel for leaning back and lengthening. Inhale, telescope your ribs. Exhale, drop left hip down. Inhale to your heart space. Exhale, pull the low belly in. Head to ankle stage 1. Grab your blocks if you did on the other side. And bring both forearms down onto the block by keeping your pelvis level. Hug your left knee in towards midline. Breathe into that left hip. Coming back to your ujjayi breath and really acknowledging what's going on in the hips here. These are some of our first travels into the hips, one of our first times going a little deeper. So give it breath. Give it preparation. Lizard with a half bind. Come back up. Set your blocks to the front. Come onto your hands and tuck your right toes, lift your right knee. Lengthen your stance as much as you need to be in a long lizard. And then come under your thigh with your left arm, internally rotate, and then bend the elbow, bring the back of your hand to your hip or your low back. Shift the weight forward into your front foot and peel your heart forward as you strengthen through that right leg, as if you were standing without your right hand here for support. Release. Walk your hands over to the right, so you're in a wide-legged fold to the right side. Flank stretch the other way. So left hand grabs right leg. Right hand grabs right wrist. Pull your upper body towards the right, but let your left set of ribs kind of sink. Breathe into that whole side of the body. Turn back to the front of your mat. Step back, down dog. Right foot forward to a box-shaped lunge. For head to ankle 1. So we were already here. Grab your blocks. Maybe this time you're ready to come down to the floor, but if you still need blocks, then grab them. Definitely use them. Feel for a level pelvis. Now we're going to move on to head to ankle stage 2. So come back to center, remove your blocks. Bring your left forearm down. If you still need that block, that's okay. And then right hand's going to grab behind your right heel. You're going to try to dip your shoulder underneath your knee or your thigh. And then round your spine like you're somersaulting in your upper back and shift the weight into that right foot. Keep hugging right knee in towards your torso. So you really want to feel for that rounding, like you're even tucking your chin towards your chest. Good. Go ahead and release. Warrior one, so tuck your left toes under, spin your left heel down, and then rise to a warrior one stance with kind of a wide stance. So not heel to heel in line, more like hip distance. Square your hips forward and then take humble warrior. Interlace your fingers behind your back, squeeze shoulder blades together, and then bow forward. Bring your shoulder inside of your left knee. And keep drawing your right hip back so that you're not swinging hips out to the side. Relax your head. Keep your legs nice and strong. Inhale, rise up, strong legs. Find pyramid pose. So you may like to shorten your stance a little bit. Straighten both legs. Again, hips are square to the front of the room, just like warrior one. And a couple options. I'm going to take pyramid with back traction just so I can stay a little bit higher here. But if you'd like to bring hands down onto blocks or even fold forward, you're welcome to do that. Working on opening the hamstrings. Good. Release your palms to the mat and step back to plank. From plank, lower all the way down to your belly for a prone chest opener. Reach your left arm out to the side and turn your gaze to the right while you're on your belly. Then step your right foot behind you and roll onto your left side. So you will end up looking like this. Let the weight of your hip and knee fall behind you. And keep your left palm spread wide so that you can stretch into your chest and shoulder. Take a couple more breaths there. And then roll back onto your belly and press up into downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward. Bring your right knee down for box-shaped lunge. Head to ankle one. Grab your blocks if you liked using them on the last side. And come onto forearms or bring both forearms down. Breathe into hips. Head to ankle two. Release your blocks. You may like to keep one of them, but release your right forearm down and then bring your left hand behind your left heel. Drop your shoulder under your thigh and then create a somersaulting effect in your upper back by bringing your chin to your chest and rounding your upper back. And then also shift the weight forward into the front foot like you are going to actually tip and roll forward. Humble warrior. Rise up and release from that. Tuck your right toes. Spin your right heel down and rise up to warrior one with that wider stance. Swim your arms behind your back. Interlace your fingers and squeeze your shoulders together and then bow forward. Keeping hips nice and contained. Drop your left shoulder inside of your left knee. Inhale, rise up. And reset your stance for pyramid. Straighten both legs. Pyramid with back traction, you can pancake your hands onto your thigh, or again, come down onto blocks, the flat back, or folds forward. Wherever you end up, keep squeezing your legs in towards midline and evenly distribute the weight between both feet. Prone chest opener on the other side. So release, bring your hands to the mat, step to plank, and then lower down onto your belly. This time, reach your right arm straight out from your shoulder, palm down, take your gaze to the left, and then roll onto your right side body with the left leg behind you. Again, let the left leg fall backwards. That should give you a little more pressure into the chest. Keep breathing into the collarbones and feel for softening your jaw. Roll back onto your belly. Bring your hands under your shoulders and press to downward facing dog. Right foot forward, left knee down, head to ankle 2. So right fingers come behind your heel, drop your left forearm down, and then hug your shoulder under your thigh as you drop your head down. So keep your head down, keep your knee secured in towards your shoulder for head to ankle 3. You're going to come onto your hand of your left, on your left hand, and then tuck your toes of your left leg, Straighten your left leg. Keep bending into right knee, and keep the somersaulting effect. Feel for evening out the weight from side to side. Now, keep your left hand on for support. Reach your right arm out, internally rotate your shoulder, and bring the back of your hand to your hip. Keep leveling the pelvis. If you feel stable with the hands and the legs, if you feel stable in your feet, then reach your left hand behind you and grab for that bind. Now, you can use your strap here if your hands don't quite reach, but your legs are strong enough for you to balance. Good. Release. Bring your hands down. Step back to plank. Lower to your belly. Replace your hands like goalposts. Cobra pose. Inhale, pull your ribs forward and up. Exhale, pull your ribs forward, come down. Press to downward facing dog. From down dog, left foot forward. Right knee down, head to ankle 2. Bring your hand behind your heel, hug your shoulder under your thigh, and then drop your right forearm down. Feel for a somersaulting action. This whole time that you're in these series of poses as we progress to head to ankle, keep hugging your knee and your thigh of that left leg in towards your body so that you feel like that's kind of your anchor point or your midline point. Come up onto your right hand for head to ankle 3. Tuck your right toes and straighten your right leg. Keep bending into that left knee so it's over the left ankle. Keep somersaulting. Keep hugging your left knee in. Hips to the sky. The higher you can walk this right foot in, the easier the balance becomes.
Now internally rotate your left arm and flip the back of the hand onto your hip. Right hand can stay down for support, or if you feel pretty stable, reach it up and back for the bind. You can also use a strap here if the bind feels a little out of reach. Keep hugging knee in towards body even as you're binding. Release your hands. Step back to plank. Lower down halfway, chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Spread your collarbones. Feel more expansive now that we're done with binding. Exhale, press back. Downward facing dog. Good work. Come down onto your knees and then have a seat. Now that we are all open in the hips, we can give our peak pose a try, which is compass. So you can take your strap, or you may find that you don't need one. You're gonna wrap it around the base of your foot if you do. Your strap's gonna come in your left hand once the strap is on the right foot. And first start to bring the knee behind the shoulder as you bring your right leg down. Now, if it's in your practice and you feel pretty stable here, you can start to kick out and extend through that right leg. So again, either bent knee or working towards that straight compass. Stay for 3 breaths. Good, go ahead and release. Let's try the other side. So right leg's down for support. Strap can come to your foot, or if not, it's a peace finger grip around your big toes. First, bend the knee and bring it behind your shoulder so that your left arm can come down in front of your thigh. And then if it's in your practice to straighten and extend that leg, you can start to straighten the heel up towards the ceiling, or just energetically think about reaching the knee up. Even if the knee doesn't become straight, you're still trying to send energy out of the hip. Again, stay for 3 breaths wherever you wind up. Feeling into the hips, feeling for all of your strength. When you're ready to release, release gently. Gomukhasana legs. Take your right knee, bring it so it points towards the front of the mat, and your right heel towards your hip, and then left leg comes over top. Trying to stack knee on top of knee. Settle both sit bones to the ground, and then if you have more room in your hips, or you feel like you can take a little bit more of a stretch, you'll work your ankles farther away from your hips. This might be plenty of a stretch. You can put a little pressure on your knees down towards the mat. That might increase your stretch, or if you need more, fold forward. If your right knee is on the bottom, bring your left hand out to the side and stretch your right arm up and overhead. If your left knee's on the bottom, do the opposite. Just taking a gentle side bend, just here for 2 breaths. And then release, switch your legs. Left knee on the bottom, right knee on top. Pivot so that your sit bones can come down, and then if you're a little tighter, heels towards your butt. If you have more room in your hips, heels away. Up to you whether you'd like to fold forward, stay seated with a little pressure on the knees. And then we'll take a side bend. So if your left knee is on the bottom, then it's right arm out to the side, left arm up and overhead. Puff your ribs. Inhale and rise back up.
Uncross your knees. You can bring your blanket to the top of your mat to act as a pillow. And then roll onto your side and come down onto your back for your final Shavasana. You can choose whether you'd like to extend your legs all the way flat or a different variation that feels good on your back. Bring your arms out into the side. Take a big breath into your belly, down into pelvic floor and into your hips. And as you exhale, let your spine soften. Let it feel heavy down towards the mat. And notice any shifts that you feel in your body. It can be physical or a little more energetic. Also notice for any shifts that you feel in your mind. Sometimes when asana practice is a little more challenging, it's easier to tap into the sensations of the body. Or some days it might feel like you can't even connect with the body and your mind is moving like crazy. So acknowledge what that is for you today. And then give yourself a few moments of rest. Begin to gently deepen your breath. Feeling free to stay in this Shavasana for as long as you'd like. And when you are ready to come out, use your breath first to awaken the body. And then some gentle movements, smaller ones first. Give yourself a big, long stretch, reaching your arms up and over your head. And then roll over onto one side or the other. Take a fetal position. Spend about 2 or 3 breaths there. When you're ready, press yourself up to a seat. Use your hands. Keeping the eyes closed if possible. Bring hands together in front of the heart. Bowing the head down in a gesture of gratitude and taking a piece of this practice with you for the rest of your day. allowing the shifts to sink in, and trusting that whatever you needed to move or whatever needed to be brought to awareness, it happened. No need to question, no need to wonder or stir on it. Allow yourself to know that what you needed, it already happened. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. The light in me honors and respects the same light in each of you. Namaste.